Culés. We've just lived through 48 hours that have turned the world of Barça and global football upside down. As I write this, 3 bombshells are shaking up the offices at Camp Nou. And I guarantee what you're about to hear will completely change your perspective on the upcoming transfer window. First, Luis Diaz has broken his silence about his future in a very clear way, but his words hide something no one else is talking about. Second, 2 world-class stars could arrive in Barcelona for free this summer, and one of them already knows Flick's system inside out. And third, a brand new FIFA rule has forever changed how penalty kicks are handled. And all because of a controversial play that once again favored our eternal rival. Smash the like button now, subscribe if you're a true culé, and hit that bell because what's coming next is absolute dynamite. Let's start strong. Let's talk about justice. Because what happened this week with FIFA's new rule on penalty kicks is the perfect example of how modern football works. First, an injustice is committed, then the rule is changed. The International Football Association Board, or IFAB, has just made a revolutionary change to the rulebook that directly impacts penalties with accidental double touches. Sound familiar? Of course it does. This all started during the Champions League round of 16, when Atletico Madrid faced Real Madrid in yet another controversial knockout match. The scene that changed everything. Julian Alvarez steps up against Courtois, runs at the ball, slips as he strikes it, accidentally touches the ball twice, completely unintentionally, scores the goal, and VAR disallows it. That night's referee, Simon Marciniak, yes, the same one who screwed us over against Inter Milan in that infamous semifinal, ruled that the accidental double touch invalidated the goal. The result? Mbappe and Bellingham capitalized on the psychological moment to close out the tie, and Madrid advanced. A story we culés have lived far too many times, haven't we? But here's the twist. The new rule now states that if a player scores after an accidental double touch, the penalty must be retaken, not disallowed, not awarded as an indirect free kick to the opposition, simply retaken. Fair and simple. The problem? This rule comes 6 months too late for Atletico, and probably years too late for us. What frustrates me most is the lack of proper technology. At the 2022 World Cup and Euro 2024, they used the Connect ball, a chip-equipped ball that registers 500 data points per second. Paired with 10 specialized cameras, it can resolve situations like this in real time. So why isn't it used in the Champions League? Simple. Not every European stadium has the infrastructure. And conveniently, controversial decisions always seem to benefit the same clubs. This new rule is a step forward in terms of transparency, but it's also proof that European football moves at 2 speeds, one for the privileged and another for everyone else. And we, the culés, know very well which group we belong to. Let's now talk about Victor Osimhen, the striker everyone in Europe is talking about, and whose name is growing louder in the corridors of Camp Nou. But before you get excited, let me tell you the harsh reality of this operation. The Nigerian just completed a spectacular season on loan at Galatasaray. 37 goals and 8 assists in 41 matches. Numbers that would make any sporting director drool. The problem? Those numbers come with a price tag that even Europe's elite clubs would hesitate to touch. Osimhen is under contract with Napoli until 2027, with a release clause of $130 million and a salary close to $10 million net per season. On top of that, Napoli's coach, Antonio Conte, has already made it clear he doesn't count on him for next season, meaning Osimhen is now a must-sell asset. Aurelio De Laurentiis, Napoli's president and one of the toughest negotiators in Italian football, has no intention of giving his star away. He wants at least $100 million for the transfer, a price that instantly rules out most European clubs. Enter Eric Chell, Nigeria's national team coach, who was surprisingly blunt about Osimhen's future. Victor is the best striker in the world. With the transfer window open, it's impossible for him to be 100% focused. A move is certain. Maybe to Manchester United, maybe Barcelona, Chelsea, or Real Madrid. Look at that list of clubs. They all have one thing in common: massive budgets and the ability to pay immediately. Barcelona, as much as we admire Osimhen's quality, simply isn't in a financial position to play in that league. DECO already held preliminary talks with the player's camp last season, but discussions cooled quickly once the salary topic came up. 10 million net per year for one player is literally incompatible with our current wage structure. But there's an interesting detail. Osimhen isn't just a natural-born goalscorer. He's a complete striker who would fit perfectly into Hansi Flick's system. His ability to press high, play with his back to goal, and finish instinctively makes him an ideal profile for our style of play. The problem isn't sporting, it's financial. And that's the harsh truth of the modern Barcelona. We can identify the best players in the world, we can convince them to come to Camp Nou, but we can't afford what they're asking. My personal opinion, Osimhen would be a dream signing, but bringing him in would completely destabilize our finances and jeopardize other necessary squad moves. Sometimes the smartest decision is knowing when not to sign a player, no matter how good they are. Now, let's get to the part that really excites me. The signings that could actually happen. While the media obsesses over impossible mega deals, DECO is quietly weaving a web of opportunities in the free agent market that could transform our squad without spending a single euro on transfer fees. Let's start with Thomas Partey, the Ghanaian midfielder from Arsenal, whose contract ends in June. At 31, Partey is looking at his last major deal, and his contract situation makes him a golden opportunity for any club that values experience and quality. English outlets, from The Sun to Sky Sports, confirm we've already initiated contact with his camp, and it makes perfect sense. Partey is exactly the type of player we need. A defensive midfielder with Premier League experience, capable of breaking lines with his passing, strong in recoveries, and physically equipped for elite competition. According to sources, Hansi Flick is a big admirer of Partey's game and has already given the green light. The German especially values his anticipation and tactical versatility, both key traits in Flick's system. But it's not all sunshine and roses. Partey is comfortable in London, enjoys a good relationship with Mikel Arteta, and wouldn't be willing to accept a significant pay cut. Arsenal is also actively working on renewing his deal, albeit without success so far. Here's the key factor: Arsenal's interest in Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad. If they manage to sign the Spaniard, Partey's departure becomes a logical outcome for both sides, and that's where we come in, ready to welcome him with open arms. The second name on our free agent list is even more exciting: Leroy Sané from Bayern Munich. The German winger has rejected all of Bayern's renewal offers and is actively searching for a new adventure. At 28, Sané brings exactly what we need on the flanks: pace, dribbling, goal threat, and experience in top-tier competitions. His contract ends in June, and his representatives have already begun exploring options on the market. The connection with Hansi Flick is obvious. The German coach knows Sané's strengths inside out, from their time together with the national team and, at Bayern, that previous relationship could be decisive in convincing the player that Barcelona is his next destination. Arteta's Arsenal appears to be our main competitor in this deal, but we have significant advantages: the Flick factor, the appeal of our sporting project, and, most importantly, the opportunity to play a leading role in a squad building something special. What I love most about this strategy is that it shows DECO's evolution in approach. Instead of chasing flashy, impossible signings, he's targeting real opportunities in the market. Proven quality players who could join for free and who fit our project perfectly. The reality? We need these profiles more than we need star signings. Partey would give us the defensive stability we're missing in midfield, while Sané would add depth and top-tier quality to our wings. The key lies in salary negotiations. Both players would have to adjust their demands to our financial reality. But in return, we're offering something money can't buy: the chance to be central figures in the rebuilding of the biggest club in the world. And now we arrive at the main course of the day: Luis Diaz's statements about his future. The Colombian has decided to speak publicly about the rumors linking him to Barcelona, and his words have sparked plenty of discussion on both sides of the Atlantic. Right now, I'm focused on the national team, but I'm very happy at Liverpool. I love being there, and I want to keep helping the team achieve great things. My plan is to stay and continue with this project for a few more years. Those were Diaz's exact words in an interview with Colombian media. At first glance, it sounds like a categorical statement that shuts down any potential move. But in modern football, especially when giants like Barcelona are involved, public declarations are only part of the story. According to sources from Sport newspaper, DECO has already begun preliminary talks with Luis Diaz's camp. We're not talking about formal negotiations yet, but rather those initial contacts that serve to feel out the terrain and gauge whether a deal is realistically possible. What do we know about the player? At 27 years old, Diaz is enjoying the best moment of his career at Anfield. Under Arne Slot, he has found the consistency he lacked under Klopp and has become a key part of Liverpool's attack. His speed, dribbling, ability, and knack for creating danger from anywhere across the front line make him an ideal fit for modern football. But here comes the usual problem: money. Liverpool has no intention of selling one of their most valuable players. Diaz is under contract until 2027, and his release clause is around 80 million. A figure that is currently out of reach for our finances. Moreover, the Colombian is well aware of his privileged position at Liverpool. He's part of an ambitious project, plays in the best league in the world, and has a guaranteed spot in the starting 11. Why risk all of that for an uncertain move? However, and this is where things get interesting, Barcelona is still Barcelona. The call from Camp Nou carries a unique pull in the world of football, and Luis Diaz is not immune to that allure. Sources close to the player confirm that he reacted positively to DECO's contact, though they also acknowledge that any potential move would be extremely complex, not just for financial reasons, but because of the timing. Diaz is at a high point in his career, and a move now could disrupt his momentum. My take on his statements? They're politically correct but not definitive. Diaz is being smart. He reaffirms his commitment to Liverpool while leaving the door open for future opportunities. It's exactly what any savvy player in his situation would do. The key question is Barcelona willing to make an extraordinary financial effort for Luis Diaz? Because that's what it would take. This wouldn't be a simple operation like the free agents we've discussed. It would be a multi-million euro investment that would stretch a significant part of our budget. And this is where DECO's Plan B comes into play. Marcus Rashford from Manchester United. The Englishman is going through the worst period of his career at Old Trafford, but his technical quality remains intact. Last week, our sporting director met with Rashford's representatives to explore a loan deal with a purchase option. Rashford's advantage is clear. He would cost significantly less than Diaz, and his situation at United makes him a motivated player eager to prove himself in a new project. Flick believes that in the right environment, Rashford can rediscover his best form and become a key piece of our attack. The reality is that Luis Diaz remains our top priority, but the operation is incredibly complicated. His public statements don't slam the door shut, but they don't fling it wide open either. Everything will depend on whether Liverpool is willing to negotiate, and more importantly, whether we can generate the resources needed to fund a deal of that size. And that's a wrap on the news that's shaking up the Barça universe this week. We've seen how FIFA changes the rules after harming us. We've analyzed why Osimhen is a pipe dream. We've uncovered DECO's master plan with free agents, and we've dissected Luis Diaz's statements word for word. The question I'm asking you is this: would you prefer a transfer window with 2 or 3 smart low-cost signings? Or would you rather keep dreaming about blockbuster deals that never actually happen? Because the reality of Barcelona in 2025 is this: we have to be smarter than we are wealthy. And if DECO can bring in Partey and Sané for free, while negotiating smartly for Diaz or Rashford, we'll have pulled off the perfect window for our circumstances. What do you think, Koulé? Do you trust DECO's strategy? Do you believe Flick can work magic with these kinds of profiles? Are you more excited about a smart free transfer or a big money blockbuster signing? Tell me everything in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the analysis. Subscribe so you don't miss a single Barça update, and I'll see you in the next video with more explosive news. Visca el Barça.